Hi everyone. Thanks for coming. Hopefully we have a few more people trickle in here, but if it's just us, that's okay too. It can be a nice little intimate meeting. Oh, we got a couple more people coming in. Hey everyone who just joined. I'm thinking we could give it about 2 more minutes and then we can get started. Okay, I think we can get started. If a few more people trickle in, that's okay too. Well, first of all, thank you everyone who is showing up tonight and taking the time out of your evening to be with us and learn a little bit about goal setting for the new year. And hopefully we can do a little bit of goal setting exercises and have fun learning about that tonight. So, I am Samantha Van Buren. I'm the Associate Director of Health Programs here at Special Olympics New York. And I also have Jess DeVerne here. She is the Senior Health Director. And so I guess Jess, if you want to kind of start us off, and then we'll talk a little bit. She'll talk a little bit about goal setting, and then I'll kind of talk about building healthy habits and staying motivated while you achieve your goals. So, yeah, let's hand it over to you, Jess.
Alrighty. Can everyone see the presentation? No? Uh-oh.
Now I
Yes?
can.
Yes. Okay. It just had to load for a second. It had to load. Okay. So, Sam, thank you for the introduction. I know Emily. I've met Emily plenty of times before. Jenna and Lisa, I don't know if I know you guys. And let's see who else is on here. Jeffrey, and Sheena. Okay. So, listen, guys, this is going to be a little interactive. Not a big deal. It's going to be fun. It's going to be light work. But what's the sense in just talking about our goals when we could, start to develop them and look at 2026 and work on them together? So, Sam and I were thinking, what should we do as our January Health and Wellness Forum? And it just seemed like Goal setting was the obvious choice, with it being the new year and all. This is typically a time that people think about what they want to accomplish in 2026, in the new year and how to do it. So without further ado, let's see if this will work here. All right, here comes the first interaction. We have a little, not a quiz, more like a family feud style game here. I have on the board 6 of the most common New Year's resolutions for 2026. Feel free to either unmute yourself or you can just write in the chat if you want what you think they might be.
Weight loss.
Weight loss, good one, Lisa, good one. Who else? There's 6 of them. Emily, I think you're muted. All right. In the chat, everyone's got to share.
Exercise?
Exercise, very good. Weight loss and exercise. What else? Anybody else have one? Oh, the chat is going. Lisa said hi. Love it. Thank you. All right, we have weight loss and exercise.
Earn more
What?
money.
Money. That's a good one, Sam. Save more money. Save more money.
Less electronics.
It's fair. Less electronics. I like that. As we're on a Zoom meeting right now. Anyone else? Sheena or Jeffrey or Jenna would love to hear from you guys, but don't feel pressured.
Uh, Reading more.
Reading more, that's a good one. That's one that I have. All
How
righty.
about
Yep, go ahead, Sheena.
screen time?
Less screen time. Absolutely. That goes with less electronics too. That's a big one, especially in today's age. Jeffrey, you got anything for us? It's okay if not. Alrighty, so the top 6 New Year's resolutions for 2026 are exercise more. Very good. Oh, be happy. Broad. Eat healthier. Save money. Good, Sam. Improve your physical health and lose weight. So just you guys can show, show of hands, show of fingers. How many of these do you guys think are health and wellness related goals out of the 6? Oh, okay. Emily's got 6. I see it. Lisa, how many did you have?
4.
4. Love it. All righty. Well, let's talk about it. First, why is it important to set goals? Why is it important to set health and wellness goals? Why is it important to set any goals? Anybody have an answer? Go ahead, Emily.
To be healthier in your life and set goals for and to improve yourself.
Absolutely. To improve yourself, be healthier. Absolutely. Anybody else? Why is it important to have goals?
You can set your expectations for it or work towards something.
Absolutely. Yep. Definitely to have something to work towards, to stay motivated. Sheena, how about you? Do you have any goals?
I have a few. I would say it kind of gives you purpose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gives you purpose. Would you guys say, just by nodding your heads, yes or no, do you think it's possible to get the things that you want without having goals set towards them? No. Sometimes even identifying the things that you want is setting a goal right there. If I want to lose weight or if I want to be more physically active, that identifies the goals that I want to set. So it's very important to set goals to better yourself, to have something you're working towards, and to ensure that you're getting the things that you want out of life, out of sports, out of your health in general. going back to that question about how many of those 6 top New Year's resolutions are health and wellness goals, most of the time when people think about health and wellness, they think about the top category that I have on the screen here, physical wellness. This is exercise, nutrition, hydration, sleep. It's all the things you think about when you think about fitness, and improving kind of your body and your brain. What they don't always think about are the other 3 types of wellness that I have on the screen. Mental wellness, this is keeping your brain sharp through puzzles, through drawing, things that stimulate your mind. Oftentimes they relax you as well. Emotional wellness, this has to do with your relationships with your friends, with yourself, how you manage stress, how you manage those relationships. And then spiritual wellness. And this can be religious, or this can be about your connection to the earth, your connection to the universe, living in the moment, mindfulness. So I have a bunch of different pictures on the screen of different types of wellness. That being said, when we go back to those New Year's resolutions, if you think about it, Emily had it correct. All 6 of them have to do with health and wellness. Save money is a little bit on the fence, but ultimately that affects your stress, that affects how you can do the other things if you have enough money saved for it and budgeted for it. So all of those top goals that the world is setting for 2026 right now have to do with their health and wellness. Next question. Why might it be difficult for someone to achieve a goal like be happy? Like Emily, if I told you right now in 2026, you should set a goal to be happy. Why might it be difficult for you to start something right now towards that goal?
Sometimes you have obstacles, and
Absolutely.
sometimes you're busy.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Lisa, if I said, okay, the goal is we are gonna exercise more starting tomorrow, why might it be difficult to find where to start? Oh, sorry. Might be stuck on mute. That's all right. How about Samantha? Sam, I'm calling you.
Well, you might not know, exercise more. That's so broad. So what am I going to start with? Where do I even start? What kind of exercise? When am I going to do it? How long am I going to do
Absolutely.
it for?
100%. If you told all of us that our homework was to go home and we have to exercise more, chances are every single person on this call would do something different. Some people might do the same thing, but these goals are very broad, especially be happy. There's so many ways to be happy. If my goal tomorrow is to be happy, I might get stuck just not knowing how to start that goal or where to begin. That's why it's important to set SMART goals. So, SMART goals, many of you have heard of them before, I'm sure. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That means rather than setting a goal like exercise more or be happy, you're talking about what you're specifically going to do. I'm going to run more. I am going to run 3 days a week. I am going to run 3 days a week after school. Things like that, really trying to make that goal as specific as you can. So there's less of a likelihood that you'll run into those obstacles. Measurable, it's important to make sure that there's a way that you can know if you've hit your goal or not. That's something like, I'm going to run 3 times a week for a month. Achievable, making sure it's something you can accomplish. If you've never run before in your life, running every single day is probably not the best goal for you to set. That's a lot. Easy to burn yourself out, easy to get injured. Relevant, make sure the goal makes sense to you. Like I said, if you've never run before, running might not be your goal. You might want to try something like dancing or weightlifting or walking, something that's a little bit easier to start up into. And then time bound. A lot of people, when they set New Year's resolutions, it's for the entire year. Doesn't have to be. It could just be for a month. It could be for a couple months. You could reevaluate after a certain amount of time and see if you want to increase your goal or decrease it. So it's important when you're thinking about goals and trying to better yourself and move towards what you want in life to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. So, some specific examples. Sometimes when I hear someone talk about it, I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know how to apply that to the goal that I have right now. So, say your goal is to get more sleep. Instead of saying, I'm just going to get more sleep, saying something like, I'm going to make sure I go to bed by 10:30 on weeknights. And the way I'm going to make sure I do that is I'm going to track it in a journal, or maybe I have an app on my phone that I'm going to use. And I'm not going to do it, but maybe I won't start with 10:30 every night. Maybe I'm going to start by, I go to bed at 11 right now. I'm going to start by going to bed at 10:45. 15-minute increments. Make it a little bit easier for me to achieve. And this is important to me because I need more sleep. It's very important for my health. I'm tired all the time. And I'm going to do this for 3 months, and then I'm going to see how that looks for me and if I was successful or if I might need to change that goal a little bit. If your goal is to move more or walk more, instead of saying you're just going to walk more, set a goal for however many steps. And you can use, again, an app on your phone or a journal. You don't have to do 10,000 steps right off the bat. You can start by 1,000 and increase. So different ways to make those goals more achievable is ultimately going to make you more successful. So what we can do next, you can either share out with the group or feel free to do this exercise on your own. We're going to take about 2 minutes. Think about a goal that you have. Maybe it's something you've already set for 2026. Maybe it's something that you've been thinking about. Maybe you haven't even thought about a goal. So you're going to identify one right now and figure out how to make that a SMART goal. I'll go back to the screen with some examples so you guys can see. But if anybody wants to share out a goal they have, we can work on making it a SMART goal together, or feel free to take a minute to do this exercise on your own.
I had a goal I've been working on
All right,
for
let's
the
hear it.
for the new year. So of course it's about exercise, right? So to make sure that I go to the gym 3 times a week and to walk 2 miles a day for sure.
I like that. That's a good
So,
goal.
yeah, so the 2 miles, I fall short some days.
Hmm.
So to make it more measurable and or more time bound and specific, to add on to it during my fifth period prep time, I walk an extra lap or two around the school, and it only takes me 10-15 minutes just to make sure I get more steps in.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Lisa, your goal was you wanted to exercise more. You identified walking. You realized that starting off with 2 miles hasn't exactly led to as much success as you were hoping. So, you've created more achievable parts of that goal to make sure you're walking during that fifth period. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How are you tracking it? Are you tracking it on an app?
Well, no, really just on my phone because what I'm on today for the Zoom call. Because the phone has that heart success health one.
Oh, yep,
And so I was tracking it that way for now. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, it's important to track it. And then
Mhm.
are you planning on doing that for the whole year? Or do you have like a, let's see if I can do this for a month?
Oh no, for the whole year, because
Awesome.
I was a little short this past year. My average was 1.8 miles. And so for the whole entire year, that's my goal for two, but I broke it down by month. And then it wasn't enough because there was too much
Mhm.
variance. And so then I had to figure out how to, get a little, pinch a little extra out every day.
I hear you. I
Mhm.
hear you. I've considered buying one of those walking pads,
Yeah,
but I just don't know if I put it at my desk, then if I need to take a meeting, where do I put the walking pad? I don't know.
right,
You
Then
need a
I'm
right.
stand-up desk. That's what I have.
I have the
Oh,
stand-up
nice.
desk. I
It's on
have that.
wheels. Yeah.
It's very nice. But then I'm just standing there. So I got to figure out the walking pad.
Yeah.
Well, you can have
Oh,
it over the walking pad.
yeah, but then if I go to sit down in my chair for like a meeting, what do I do with the walking pad?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't use it in anything.
Yeah,
I had someone do that
definitely.
one time. We were on a meeting and they were on the walking pad and like their breathing was very heavy and it was a
Hmm.
little uncomfortable.
Yep, I can see that getting tricky. All right. Anybody who worked on their goal on their own, do you want to share out and tell us kind of what you came up with, or if you need any help, you can talk about your goal and we're happy to help you out creating a SMART goal.
I was thinking of exercising 7 days a week. I tried to do on the treadmill or on the bike we have
Yeah,
and do
absolutely.
a certain amount of speed, like 45 or 30, get up to a speed that is good for me to be great.
Yeah. Emily, how often do you do that now? How often would you say you did that last year per week?
Not very much.
Not very much. So I would say, in order to make it a SMART goal, rather than 7 days a week, maybe start with see if next week you can do it at least 1 day a week.
Okay.
Week after that, two, and before you know it, within a month, you'll be doing it the majority of the week. Um, just because going from not doing it very often to 7 days, if you miss 1 day, then you're already not doing so great on your goal. So
Mm.
if you build up to it, that's easier for you to see, okay, it was easy for me to get 1 day a week. It was easy to get two, maybe it's easy to get three. Once you get to 4 days a week, it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this after work or, after dinner or whenever you choose to work out. It might be more difficult. But I
Mm.
like that goal. I like that. Why is that important to you?
Um, because I'm trying to lose weight and be more healthier.
Absolutely. Same.
Mhm.
Same girl.
And now I have a trainer too.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. So that'll be a little bit easier for you to hit your goal
Yeah.
for 7 days a week because you'll
Yes.
have your trainer helping you out.
Yes.
Awesome. And how are you tracking that? Do you have like
I
are
have
you
an
marking on
Apple
things?
Watch,
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
so it can connects to my phone.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share it on their goal?
All right, Jess, are you ready for mine?
I'm ready. Let's hear it, Sam.
Okay. Let me know if I missed anything. I wrote it in the chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat in case I forgot anything.
Okay.
Okay. Attend an in-person or virtual yoga class on average 2 times per week in the next 6 months. I'll keep track in my notes app and put a reminder on my phone once a week so that I don't forget to track it. Um, I can start with one class per week and build up. And I'm also using an average to allow myself weeks where I might not be able to make it.
Smart.
And relevancy, I want to improve my flexibility, strength, and lower my stress levels. So I'll try that for 6 months and then reassess.
Great. Well
Did I miss
done.
anything?
No,
Okay.
that's perfect. Well done. We had on our athlete leadership call a couple of weeks ago, we had an athlete who he wanted to eat healthier. And so his specific was instead of 4 scoops of ice cream, when he had ice cream, he was gonna drop it to 3 and then he was gonna drop it to 2. That was his big goal. Zach Adams, very fit individual, loves ice cream, wanted to eat healthier. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
Do you know if he started yet?
I don't know. We'll have to check back in. All right, awesome. Anybody else want to share it on their goals? Don't feel pressure. Anybody have a goal that they're like, this is a real stumper. They won't be able to turn this into a SMART goal. All righty. So moving right along, we shared out. A lot of people shared out on their goals already. I love it. We talked about making them SMART goals. I'm going to pass it off to Samantha and wish everyone luck achieving their 2026 goals. And if you need any help, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help you guys on your goals.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Jess. That was great. All right. So I have a few tips for you. If you're trying to achieve a goal that's related to, eating healthier or nutrition. So, first of all, it can be a lot easier to achieve goals that are related to eating healthier or your nutrition if you make grocery lists and you kind of plan what you're going to eat for the week. So you make a list of all the things that you need to make certain meals throughout the week. You can do some meal prepping. You can make menus, whether that's like, okay, here's my options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner throughout the week, or, if it's here's what I'm gonna have every night for dinner. And just making making a plan makes the process a lot easier because if you just go into the grocery store and just grab whatever looks good, first of all, you might not have the right things to make a balanced meal. You might be less likely to pick, healthier options. And it can just make it a lot more difficult to eat healthy if you don't have those things accessible in your home. Also, yep, as I said, like just having those healthier options to reach for makes it a lot easier, especially if you're craving like a certain thing, and you can kind of like swap something else out for it if you already have it with you. As we kind of mentioned, start with, yes, it is more expensive too. That's so true. Um, yeah, and you can always look for less expensive things. I know when I go into like the produce section in the store, I always see what's on sale. What's in season is usually cheaper, so that's something that you can think about too. Um, but yeah, start with small changes. Like we said, like maybe start with one or two goals at a time. So, you don't want to say, okay, I want to eat healthier. Maybe that's your starting point. You don't want to say, okay, I'm going to cut down on sugar and I'm going to eat more fruit and I'm going to eat more vegetables. Like all three of those things at once. It's just going to be too much. It's going to be overwhelming. And at some point, you might just say, what? I'm so over this. I'm just going to eat whatever I want at this point. So starting with one goal, kind of like Jess mentioned with one of our other athletes, he wanted to still keep his ice cream in there, don't restrict yourself too much, but just maybe, take it from 4 scoops to 3, then you can take it to 2. And also, don't just focus on restricting, but also adding things. If you want to add a fruit, add one at a time per day and just focus on starting with those small changes. And then another thing that can be kind of tough when it comes to eating healthier and reaching those goals is when eating out. It can be kind of difficult. But you don't want to say, no, I can't go out to eat with you guys, to your friends and family. I don't think that, you necessarily have to do that. So here are some tips that can kind of help you stick with your goals, even if you do have things like that where you're eating out, or maybe you have like a gathering coming up or an event. Usually on menus, they have like, a healthier option list, or they might have like nutrition facts so you can kind of see what's going to be a healthier option. If there's something that you really want, I know a lot of restaurants like have huge portions, so it can be kind of hard if you've never been there before to know what the portions might be like. But if you know that it comes in a huge portion, maybe you can share it with someone. That way, like you can still get what you want, but you're not overeating. If there's those huge portions in front of you, it's easier to just keep eating them, especially if it tastes really good. And another thing is requesting that your salad dressing or sauces be on the side. That way you can kind of add them as needed. And I feel like most of the time it tastes good with a little bit less on there anyways, rather than just having it all at once. So those are some things that you can kind of do to kind of keep yourself on track with those goals when it comes to eating healthier. All right, Jess, I'm ready for the next slide. Okay, and then I have some tips for fitness goals as well, like, related to exercising more, maybe losing weight, things like along those lines. So something that really helps with staying on track with these goals is keeping a consistent routine. So for example, let's say your goal is to um, like Emily said, work out on the treadmill more. Well, maybe you decide, okay, well, I'm going to do that in the morning, or I'm going to do that when I get home at night before dinner. So I would say planning out when you're going to do it, depending on, what you think is going to work best for you, and kind of making that a routine. And there's some things that you can do to make that even easier, like putting out your gym clothes or your workout clothes in the morning, if that's your plan, is to do it in the morning. Or, as soon as I get home, this is what I'm going to do. I get home from work or get home from school or whatever it might be, and I'm gonna have my workout clothes ready for me when I get home, put those on, get on the treadmill, and then I can relax for the rest of the night. Whatever you think is gonna work best for you, and kind of already have that in your routine. So it's not as easy to say, okay, I'm not gonna do it. It's like, nope, everything's already all set for me. I might as well just do it. Another thing is that you can make it fun and social. Maybe there's someone who wants to work out with you, might want to go to a workout class with you, might want to go for a walk with you if your goal is to get more steps. Even if you want to take a pet with you, like that could be fun, and a fun way to bond with them and just kind of have fun and kind of think about, the other things that might make it a positive experience. So it's not just focusing on, exercising, but it's also fun and it's social, and you can kind of maybe see what you find when you go on a walk, and maybe what you listen to, music or things like that. And I'm sure, a lot of our athletes know this, that, sports, it's so much more than just, the fitness side of it and the physical activity side of it. It's very social, it's a community. Um, and yeah. And then another thing is that, as we talked about with our other goals, we want to start slow and gradually increase intensity. Like Jess said, if you don't run all the time, it might be kind of difficult to say, okay, all of a sudden I'm going to start running for an hour a day, or I'm going to run for even 30 minutes a day. That can be kind of a lot if you're not used to it. So not only do you want to do this so that your goals are more achievable and you feel like you can actually do it and start slow and kind of work your way up, but you also don't want to hurt yourself. So if your body is not used to kind of like that intense exercise, you might pull a muscle, you might sprain something, like, so just start slow and then gradually increasing intensity, for whatever feels doable for you. Next, please. Okay, and just for forming healthy habits in general, I mean, we all kind of set our goals maybe at the beginning of the year, but what you really want over time is for these to just become kind of like second nature. They just become a habit that's built into your routine. And the hope is that over time, the more that you do it, the more that you establish these routines, it just becomes a habit. It's just like, okay, this is what I get up and do every day. I don't really have to think about it as much. Um, so by creating those routines, as I said, um, I pack my lunch before I go to work every night. I put out my workout clothes every morning, or whatever it might be, um, that works with your schedule. Just making those routines so that they become second nature and you don't have to think about it as much. As I said, making plans, whether that be, grocery shopping or meals, have a schedule. If you need reminders, maybe a reminder pops up on your phone. You already have these things in your calendar at a certain time, you're going to do this. Checklists, did I get everything that I need from the store? Did I do everything that I need to do for the day? Um, Certain apps can help with that too. So using visual aids can help you too, to kind of really form those habits and remind yourself to do these things. As Jess kind of mentioned, you want to make something that's realistic for you and that you're actually going to hopefully somewhat enjoy. You don't want to force yourself to do something that, you really hate to do. Like, I don't think I would really like to start running 30 minutes a day tomorrow. I could maybe build up to it, but walking, I love to walk. That's much more my speed, so I would probably start with something like that. And I'm sure, like Jess said, if we all said we're going to exercise tomorrow, we would all pick different things that we would prefer to do. So, you want to align that with your interests, your abilities, and also your preferences and just like your schedule. Maybe you're not a morning person, so maybe don't try to force yourself in the morning to work out first thing. Maybe, give yourself a little time at night or kind of see what will work for you with your personality, with your schedule, and try to be realistic about those things. As we said again and again, start small, maybe start with one goal or two to begin with. I would probably recommend just one. And then slowly you can add things. Once those things kind of become more second nature, more of a healthy habit and a routine, then maybe it's okay. And like we said, maybe you'll reassess at the 6 month mark and maybe you're like, okay, yep, this is like something that I've been doing easily for the last couple of months. I'm ready to kind of see what else I can do and set a new goal. And track your progress so that you can see, maybe you were specific in your goal. You said, I'm going to do this twice a week. Okay, well, have you been doing it? You're not really going to know probably unless, you keep track of it, whether it be through an app, your journal, if you want to write it in your notes app, in your phone, whatever will work best for you. And be consistent. So, it's easier said than done, but trying to keep those routines. And if you do slip up and maybe you forgot to do something, it's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. Just, tomorrow we're just gonna keep doing it and we're just gonna push forward. And, it's about progressing and not being perfect. Okay. Would anyone like to share maybe a goal that they had in the past? Maybe what worked for you or maybe what didn't? Maybe you were trying to achieve something and you're like, oh yeah, like doing maybe some of the things I mentioned, or maybe something completely different that worked for you, or maybe didn't work so much, and how that could kind of be changed in the future if you were trying to do it again. Um, so would anyone like to share an example of that?
I have
I can
one.
go.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
sorry. Um, I was just saying for me, my goal was to go to the gym. So I'll on my phone I have an app. Like I just put my everyday in. And so I would just put it in at a specific time and it would just be like part of my day. So it helped me just want to go to the gym.
Yeah, like really establishing your routine and having that reminder really helps. Anyone else?
Yeah, I had one similar, not going to the gym because that doesn't always work for me, but trying to be more active throughout the day, which is really difficult when you're working, when you're trying to eat healthy and cook your own meals and also have a social life. It can be like very difficult to justify spending time working out when you're feeling burnt out. So I tried to build in walking meetings to my days last year, and I realized very quickly that some meetings could be a walk-in meeting. In some meetings, I needed to have my computer in front of me and my notes, and like did not work to be walking while I was trying to help my coworker find something in our files. Um, but so I think now I'm going to make certain meetings that are just like check-ins that I have monthly or weekly with my coworkers. I'm going to make those ones walk-in meetings, and have my phone handy in case I need to stop and look at a document. But trying to find coworkers who are kind of on the same page about that too, and maybe they could also go for a walking meeting. Um, just because we're at work for several hours throughout the day, I might as well try and be active during that time.
Anyone else? Yeah, Lisa,
Yeah,
go.
I was reflecting back on what we were talking about with the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And I've been trying to be so good going to the gym and adding weights on. And then last night I did yoga for the first time in like a month. And I had just not been paying attention to my emotional well-being and just to be able to relax and do different types of poses. I found it very difficult. My mind was just spinning. And I thought, when you find something that works too, not to get rid of that, to do a whole new direction, to sort of find that balance of everything, um, can be tricky. So I guess that's kind of something that, can be measurable, but has to kind of come back into the cycle. I don't know.
Absolutely. I felt so validated when I was looking up, the definitions of all the different types of health and wellness, and I saw in mental wellness that it listed puzzling, word games. They listed like all the New York Times games and video games and different things, and I was like, oh, a lot of people think that that is almost a waste of time, usually like a hobby, something you can do when you have free time, but it's just as important for your decompression time and to relax and keep your brain sharp to be able to do some of those things and build in time. So I completely understand. Like, yeah, I'm probably not going to be very successful if I'm trying to focus on my exercise or something when I can't even stop thinking about all the things I have to do for work or all these, things that I have going on in my personal life. And some people that helps, the exercise kind of takes their mind off it, but I'm more of a puzzler. I need something to get my brain busy in order
Yes.
to kind of relax like that.
Yeah, agreed.
I like that too because it kind of goes along with what everyone was mentioning at the beginning about like getting away from screens and they're so like heavily integrated into our lives now. So like and people were saying read more and things like that, like things that are more something for your mind and I find myself like now even being like okay, I just like was looking at a screen all day at work and when I come home I'm like I don't even want to watch TV or play a video game sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I want to read a book and not look at a screen anymore. Um, anyone else have an example of something that worked or didn't work in the past?
I text myself, and sometimes I like forget I have it on my phone or on my watch.
Yeah, the reminders really help, I feel like. And it can be hard to even remember to set the reminder. You can just be like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, and like, I'll know what I did, for 6 months, but it's really hard to keep track of it when you don't have, when you're not tracking it and you don't have a reminder to do it. Because you could be so focused on doing the thing to achieve the goal that you don't think about how am I gonna keep track of this and make sure that I'm actually doing it. Um, so yeah, that's a good point, Emily. Anyone else have anything they want to share?
Another thing I feel like, Sam, is like you just said, sometimes you get so focused on doing the thing to achieve the goal that like you don't even realize if it doesn't feel good afterwards, like if I'm trying to be so successful at running 3 times a week that I'm not even paying attention to the fact that I truly do not enjoy running. I'm just trying to do it, but I feel so tired afterwards. I'm not getting this runner's high that everyone's talking about. I'm just doing it to do it. Then maybe that's not the right goal for you. If you don't feel good and you don't feel accomplished and, you know, relaxed in a sense after might not be the right path.
Yeah, I feel like you can tell that we're both not runners for this. There's
Me
a
neither.
yeah, there's kind of like a running slander undertone, but if you like running, that's definitely great.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
But yeah, and just going along with that, like just certain things that don't really like fit with you and your personality. Like I know I used to be someone who wanted so badly to be like wake up in the morning and just go straight to working out and I just that has never worked for me. I don't think it's happened like even once, but for so long that was a goal of mine. Like I'm gonna do that and just kind of go against how I naturally am in the morning, and it just never worked. So eventually I just had to accept that and kind of be like, okay, well, nighttime it is. Um, so that just makes it a lot easier. Anyone else have another example before we move on?
I was just going to add in as far as like the fun part because same like it's not fun to work out. I mean, it's important and I get all of that stuff, but I did that with food where I work with a lot of our athletes on, how are we going to change habits when they're like, well, I don't know, like I can't eat all my fun food. So it's almost like we've turned it into a game of like, well, let's go to the store and find the healthy fun food. So it almost becomes that in itself now becomes motivating to like see what else we can explore and what can we find and trying new things. And so that's been a tip that we've been doing in the last year that's been really successful. Where before that it was just like, I don't know, it was almost like this tug of war power struggle always with this eating healthy, but oh, it's so not fun.
Haley, do you have any ideas for fun foods that you've been having with your athletes? Because I'm taking a little bit more of a leadership role with my group, and I was like I was just trying to brainstorm it. What I would think would be fun versus what my athletes think would be fun is very different.
So what's interesting, it's been kind of like I'll say the crowd pleaser. In fact, we built it into our party after our bocce tournament. I don't know if you've heard of Liquid Death. It's kind
No.
of Walmart carries it. I don't know what stores you have close to you, but it's kind of popular now. I know you can definitely get it on Amazon too. Um, but it's even fun. It's like this graphic can, but it's basically water. It's flavored water, but it's not like bubbly and like the other sparkling ones that kind of have that little bit of a seltzery aftertaste kind of thing. This is just
Hmm.
really good. In fact, they make like soda versions of it, but again, like the sugar content in it, I want to say it's like 4 or 5 grams per can, and they have like really big cans and little cans. And so that has been the thing that like athletes that across the board, they all love it. Every single one of them. So we've been trying to like wean away from the sugar, all the sodas, all of that stuff. But water is something we stress a lot at practices. But water is like, well, it doesn't taste like anything. I'm like, I know, but your body needs it. But for
Hmm.
fun things, or you just want to have that fun flavor, that has been definitely a go-to.
And the flavors are delicious. They have quite a few flavors.
Yes, I love Liquid Death. And they have great, like she said, great marketing, great branding. And I think they use agave to sweeten it. So like you said, it's still very low sugar content, but it's a little more like just a little bit more tasty and less like artificial.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's really good. I was also thinking maybe like if they could do something like that they could make on their own, like I don't know, like make your own trail mix or something. That way they can kind of put like, things that they like and I don't know. I always feel like trail mix is kind of fun because it's like you're always getting something a little bit different and different textures and stuff like that. But it can be kind of hard with stuff that you buy in the store because it can be like high in sugar and calories and stuff like that. But that way you can make it kind of like tailor to your own and kind of look out for the high sugar and all that stuff.
Yeah, the Cliff Bars too have kind of been I'll say another go-to just because they tend to offer a little cleaner ingredients. So, the other thing I've noticed is if the coaches do it, the athletes are much more likely to do it. Like if they see us, that's what our go-to is, they're like, hey, I want to do that too. Or the other big thing is just honestly cool water bottles. Like we did that a couple of years back where we just bought everybody really just fun, cool water bottles just to encourage them to bring it to practice and drink, drink water.
Yeah, those are great ideas. Thank you. I was debating like because I didn't want to make it too far. Like I'm like, I could make like chickpeas and roast them and like put some, spices on them and make little like, bags for everybody to try it with the recipe card on it because it would be like so simple for them to make or like a healthy alternative to, like, instead of a cookie, like make some certain kind of oatmeal cookies or something that are, with applesauce or whatever, and just try to give them a few recipes that are healthier choice if they're going to eat that way. But I don't know how many of them cook or, are in charge of the kitchens that they live in with the homes or even, with their families. So I got to kind of see how that falls. Or I don't know if you've done anything like that.
So I'm really privileged. I work for Citizen Advocates, and
Mhm.
it's all kind of sponsored through there. But we are so fortunate because in a lot of our staff have decided to onboard as coaches. So we're getting a lot of buy-in. We're constantly going over, the curriculum for Special Olympics, but also, really stressing the nutrition part of it, healthy sleep habits, the importance of exercise. We're forming walking groups in our day hab program. We have a Zumba group, so we've got a few of our athletes involved in that now. It's just a lot of it is just getting the staff and the family members to buy into this bigger picture that we're trying to create. And that honestly has been a lot of our success right there. Like when I walk into some of our homes, we've got salads. People, the like athletes as well as other residents living there are actively helping to build the salad and cut up the fruit. And we reached out to My 25 as a subscription that we use for our company that does all of our meal planning. So we've asked them to put together like fun baked goods that are healthy. So again, like making those substitutes with applesauce instead of all the oils. So we're really just trying to like keep gradually expanding. How can we get more buy-in to really
Mhm.
support athletes from all different angles?
Thank
Another
you.
thing I've heard some groups have been successful at. Usually it's if a grocery store reaches out to Special Olympics, we have some sort of event, but most larger grocery store chains have some sort of community engagement group, usually in their kind of front office side of dealings. But there are some opportunities there to, can my team come and take a tour of the store with you? Can you show us how this is how the store is laid out? Here are what's usually on the end caps. This is how you can do your shopping. Some grocery stores are really into programs like that and will be happy to kind of make their stores more accessible and more inclusive.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah, that's nice.
I just wanted to add, I know that I don't know if all grocery stores have this, but specifically ShopRite. I work at a hospital with patients that are always looking to they don't know how to start with nutrition. So ShopRite actually has dietitians that you can reach out to, and they can help you basically grocery shop. So like you tell them what you're looking for, and they kind of break it down for you and tell you what you can find in the store. And ShopRite is a pretty popular store out there. So that's just something that we were able to pass on to those who are looking to, I guess not how to approach the grocery store in general.
I
Yeah,
love that.
absolutely.
We're really fortunate. We're in Malone, New York, and we are only about an hour and a half away from the Olympic Training Center. So after our bowling season last year, we took our entire team to tour there and had lunch with the athletes. So they got to meet Olympians. And that was pretty amazing too, because they got to see the food that Olympic athletes eat. And I had one of our athletes say, "Where's the hot dogs and hamburgers?" And I said, "Well, do you think they're going to be Olympians if that's what they're eating?" And he was like, "No, I guess you're right." So I think sometimes just putting it into context of what are they fueling their bodies with? And, I always am stressing like, athlete mindset, we don't want to put the junk food in. We want to be strong and have that competitive edge. And so I think a lot of it is just seeing like multiple examples of how other people do this. But if you're ever able to go, I don't know where everybody's located,
Thank
but
you.
it's right in Lake Placid, and I'm telling you, it's free. I mean, if the lunch is $10, but as far as the tour part and meeting athletes, that part was all free. And it's completely accessible. It's where the Paralympics are held, so it was just really eye-opening for many of our athletes. We're planning on doing it again this year.
That's awesome. Is that where the museum is?
No, so that's kind of more on the Main Street end of Lake Placid. This kind of takes you over, it's actually the Olympic Training Center, so it's
Oh,
different street to get there. Um, but it was my first time ever going, and it was really, really cool.
that's awesome.
It puts it real, especially with Olympic Games coming up. I think a lot of our athletes are tuning into that a little bit more. It's becoming more real, and they
Mhm.
think of themselves as athletes. Um, so I guess, just connecting all of that for them too, that like, hey, you have to stay training year round. It's not just I'm in, I'm in bowling and I don't have to stretch. That was one of our big things when we first started doing this. They're like, well, I don't have to stretch. I never had to do it before. And I'm like, well, you do because we don't want you to get injured.
Right.
So it's just that constant like buy-in, helping them
Yeah.
understand why is this so important.
Absolutely. We get it. We get it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. All right. Are we ready to move on? I don't even know how much we have after this, but let's see. Oh, okay. Yes, we do have something else. Good. I forgot about this part. Okay. So not only do you have to set your goals and, figure out how am I going to achieve this, but, our goals can take a long time. They can take, a few months to a year even, especially if maybe you're setting a goal for 2026 for the whole year. So it can be kind of easy to say, yeah, I'm not gonna keep up with this. Like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. What's the point? Especially if you might be struggling with it. So, some things that you can do to kind of stay motivated throughout the year. As we already said, write your goals down. And I had heard this before, so I actually had to look it up to see if it was true. But you are actually 42 to 76% more likely to achieve them if you write them down, which is a very wide range, but it's still pretty high. So I think it's definitely worth it just to write it down, um, because it will make you more likely that you actually achieve it. So that's one thing that can keep you motivated, straight till the end. And another thing is to visualize your goal and the end result, throughout the time that you're trying to achieve it. Kind of remind yourself why you chose this as your goal in the first place, what will kind of be the result of it, whether it's, being more healthy, being stronger, being more flexible, feeling better, feeling more happy, whatever it might be. And then take action every day. So even if maybe you're not able to do as much as you thought you would, maybe you won't be able to walk as long on a certain day. Even if you can, maybe your goal is to be more active. Maybe you can't be active one day for a full 30 minutes, but maybe you can do it for 10 minutes. And just really carving out that time, even if it's not, as much as you want it to be. Just still do something every day if you can. And like I said, if you falter, if you miss a day, don't stress, just move on to the next day and keep trying to put some action into every day to go towards your goal. Another thing that can help you stay motivated is if you share your goals with your friends and family, people around you, it will help you take accountability because they might ask you, hey, how is that going? And maybe they might even want to do it with you, or maybe they're like, yeah, I want that to be my goal too. What can we do to kind of do this? They're going to check in with you. You can ask them to check in with you if you think it will help. Ask me every week how this is going so that I have some accountability. Because if you don't have that accountability, you're less likely to keep doing it. And then, as I kind of said before, kind of goes along with visualizing the end result and what you'll gain from going through with your goal. So identify your why, why do I want to do this? Why is this important to me? And that kind of goes back to the relevancy. Maybe it's to feel better, to be stronger, um, whatever it might be. So identify your why, why are you still doing this? And maybe remind yourself of that when you start to feel like, I don't know if I really want to do this anymore. And you can always change your goal, right? So if something isn't working, you can always tweak it to see, okay, this isn't working for me. Maybe I thought I was going to work out in the morning. It's not working. We need to change this to working out in the evenings, whatever it might be. Um, like I said, be flexible and be patient with yourself. If you are not, if you're skipping a day, maybe you skipped a whole week, it doesn't really matter. Be patient with yourself. Nobody's perfect. You're trying to implement like this whole new thing into your life. So be patient with yourself. Give yourself some grace if, you're not perfect at first. It's okay. And like I said, if you need to change things around a little bit so that it fits your life better, maybe there's something that's just not working. That's okay. You can always, change your goal a little bit. Maybe you wrote it down a certain way, rewrite it, change it. It's okay. Progress, not perfection. So same idea. Maybe you're not doing exactly what you thought that you would. That's okay. Maybe you need to, make your goal even smaller. Maybe you thought you made your goal small enough. Maybe it's just too much. We need to, tailor it down a little more. And then when we get there, we can build up from there. Treat your setbacks as opportunities to learn about yourself, learn about what works for you and what doesn't. Maybe you didn't know that, I don't know, you were a morning person and you didn't want to work out, or maybe you didn't know these foods that you don't like and you're trying them and, you're trying to force yourself to eat certain vegetables and it's just not going to happen. It's okay. Keep trying new things, see what works best for you. Um, and like I said, you can always adjust what you're doing along the way and find things that work better for you. And make your routines easy to follow, doing those small things along the way, like putting out your workout clothes, having your lunch made, having meals prepped, things like that. So you don't have to think so hard about things every single day, and stress yourself out, being like, well, what am I going to pack? Maybe I didn't pack my lunch. I'm just going to grab this thing out the door, but it's not a very balanced meal or it's not, very healthy. So just make it easier on yourself to just, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to get these things. I'm going to meal prep. I'm going to pack my lunch. I'm going to put my clothes out before I go work out. Just make things that much easier for yourself. Put your reminders in your phone. Um, Make it easier for yourself. Okay. So our key takeaways that I hope that you can all learn something, and hopefully, take these away and kind of think about your own goals for the year or even just the next few months. But small steps can lead to big changes over time. So like we said, starting small, starting with, one goal and slowly working it up, is going to be a lot more, um, successful over time than trying to make all these big changes at once. And whether your goal is to be healthier, to be happier, to save more money, it can be applied to other things too, not just your health. And, you don't have to make a goal that's just related to your physical health or fitness or, nutrition. It can be related to mental health, your social health, like whatever it might be. Use SMART goals, make sure they're measurable, make sure they're relevant to you, that they're timely, that you have kind of a time set that you can go back and reflect. Make sure your goals work for you. Don't try to, become a completely different person, because probably over time you're not going to enjoy doing that, and it just isn't going to match you, the person that you are. Make your goals fit, the things that you like to do, um, and kind of fit your schedule and your lifestyle and everything like that. Um, Keep your routines. That'll make it a lot easier to keep doing these things over time. Track your progress so that you can look back and say, okay, did I actually do this? What's working? What's not working? You can always tailor it, if certain things aren't working for you. Focus on your progress, not perfection. I know it can be hard, but nobody's perfect. Just, pick up where you left off, and don't beat yourself up too much if something happens and you're not doing your goal, and taking steps perfectly. And you got this. You can do it. Just, do what you can. Maybe you might have to change things along the way, but just believe in yourself, visualize yourself at the end of the goal and, what you'll achieve and stay motivated. Okay, well, thank you all so much again for taking the time out of your evening, for this webinar. Uh, if anyone has any questions, comments, any last thoughts that they want to share, if they have a goal that they came up with as we were kind of talking about this stuff, that you didn't get to share at the beginning, I'll, give you a couple minutes, see if you guys have anything else, and then obviously if you have any questions or you need help with a goal, whatever it might be, don't hesitate to reach out. And also, Kelly And Lisa, like, if you guys want to ever brainstorm stuff, we can talk about that too. So if anyone wants to share anything, I'll give you guys a couple minutes if you want to speak up now.
Thank you so much for all of this. I love all the reminders. They're all great things that I'll take away and be able like. So is this going to be recorded where we can share it with our athletes? Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
Perfect. So we'll set aside time where we can maybe show it even at our day program so everybody can see it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Good.
I had a question. I had gone to the app store and I was looking for, they had a Special Olympics of New York app
Mhm.
that would track some healthy living ideas, and then I couldn't download it. It kept like it wouldn't work, it wouldn't upload, it wouldn't let me log in. Do you know anything about that app or how well it's working or not?
I think that you're talking about, let me see. I thought I had it on my phone. Is it like a green color?
Yeah, I think so. It was like SOL, and then I uploaded it or downloaded it, whatever, like two or three times, and I couldn't get past the login page, like every time. And I was using, my account that I use uh for being a coach and everything,
Okay.
and it didn't matter what I put in, nothing would go in.
I wonder because we have here, I'll see if I can just show it to you.
I know. Well, now somehow I'm like, oh, I didn't mean
Is
to. I'm
it
like,
this? I don't know if this will focus.
oh,
Like
I
a
don't know if I can. Hold
green?
on. Let me see if I can get
Yeah,
to the
that's not gonna
video.
work.
That's
Um,
right. I'm seeing if I can get back to the. Oh, there I am. Okay. Oof. All
if
right.
you wanna, like if you can get like a screenshot or something of it and email it over, just so I
Okay.
can see what you're looking at, and then, because I know that we have one for it was like our move challenge. That's the green one.
Hmm.
I don't know, Jess, do you know of any other ones that we have?
I'm not sure if it might have been the move challenge. I'm not
I think
sure.
it was probably the move challenge. We're going to introduce another one that's like kind of an already established, not Special Olympics app. But
Okay.
it's not going to be exercise based. It's more going to be like um, movement and kind of your musculoskeletal, the way you stand, the way you sit, more like your posture and stuff like that. So that one hasn't been released yet, though. So I don't think that's it. I think you're talking about the Move Challenge app, um, which is actually run by Special Olympics North America.
All right.
We can, if that's what it is, we can definitely connect you and kind
Yeah.
of troubleshoot with their app team. They're pretty into the idea of using the app, so they definitely want to know if it's not working. And so we can definitely either connect you or work as the middleman to try and
Okay.
get that going.
Is that all right if you guys email me later and I'll take a screenshot of it and try to
Yeah,
figure out if
definitely.
that's what it was?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, just because again, I'm definitely want to motivate my team, and I'm one of the assistant coaches. They asked me, the head coaches or coach asked me to be in charge of this section this year. And I just want to shake it up a little bit. And I really do love the idea of their goals this year being more specific and more measurable, and not just about losing weight or running up and down the track, just to make small changes um, to allow people to be healthier, just like I'm
Hmm.
trying to do this year, is something that I really think would resonate with the athletes. So maybe if they had some sort of app to be able to track it better than just their phone, would be
Yeah,
great. So any kind of tool to
absolutely.
help them out. Yeah.
Yeah, we also have a couple resources that we can send you digitally, Lisa and Kelly, if you're interested too. There's a Fit 5 resource that you might have seen before that actually has a weekly and then a monthly tracker where they can check off if they drank their 8 glasses of water and had their 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. It's a little bit more the typical fitness, nutrition, hydration, physical activity. Um, but then we also have a brand new resource called the Fitness for Sport Playbook, and it's designed for coaches to build 12 lessons that includes social and emotional wellness into their practices or to send out to their athletes to do on their own. So we can share those resources with you guys as well. Maybe we'll just link them at the end of the presentation too and send that out.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah,
Thank
definitely. And I think that that Move Challenge app, it like syncs with your phone or something to count steps or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, we can definitely help with that too. Anyone else have any last thoughts, questions, goals? And if you want to shoot us an email, if you need help with your goals, definitely happy to help with that too.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for signing on.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I hope that you have a great rest of your evening, and thank you again for joining.
Take care.
Bye. Good night. Have
Bye,
a
Emily. Good to see you.
good to see you too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.